Hi there, SST Guru with the team Writed is bringing you mains previous year answer questions answers practice. And here we are not going to write the answers for you to be very honest, to be very precise. But what we are going to do is that we'll be providing you with the PYQs and then we'll give you a path or let's say a framework on how you are going to write the answer. So maybe we'll be writing certain points for you, and on the basis of that you try to write the answer, and then you can, even if you wish you want your answers to get checked, you can send it to us on the Telegram channel link been given there at the description box. So without wasting a lot of time, let's move to the question that was asked in GS paper 1 2024. Let me hide this for you. Okay, so underline the underline the changes in the field of society and economy from the Rig Vedic to the later Vedic period. So look, the question itself is demanding what? This is asking us to find the societal and economic changes that happened. Underline the changes. So the answer should be strictly stuck to the demand of the question. It's talking about the society and economy. We will write our answer on these two grounds only. So if we start, we all know it should be with the intro. So intro, look, this is something which everyone need to prepare for themselves. Everyone have their own style of writing. Not only intro, even if I say answers. So let's say if I have to write this answer, so I will say ki, okay, the transition of sorry the transition of Rig Vedic period. So here I will prefer to write the date as well. I know everyone knows these dates. However, to be more precise, so the transition of Rig Vedic period to the later Vedic period, I'm writing in short just for the, it's just for the reference. So 1000 to 600 BCE. So this time period, it witnessed a lot of changes. Also significant changes, not a lot of, also significant changes in both society and economy that reflected, that reflecting a transition from semi-nomadic tribal culture, as we all know, Rig Vedic period or the early Vedic period, it was kind of semi-nomadic in nature. Semi-nomadic tribal culture to a complex agrarian agrarian economy. So I believe this is more than sufficient. I know I have skipped a lot of words, I've spoke them, but I haven't written them here in the intro part. Now, the question itself is asking to write us in two contexts. One is societal, and another one is in the context of economy. So let's talk in the context of societal changes. So we'll put a heading here first: societal changes. Okay. So now what we'll see again, we'll have to explain whatever the changes that we have noticed in the, in the Rig Vedic period, and from there we have seen a shift in the later Vedic phase. So we can see this society in the Rig Vedic period was quite egalitarian in nature, isn't it? So we can say it evolved from a relatively egalitarian to hierarchical, we can say hierarchical society. Again, along with this, I mean, we can now come to the, this Varna system thing. The Varna system, which was earlier based on occupation, it now again became what? Hereditary, it became rigid in nature. It became rigid and hereditary in nature. So in this thing again, we can talk about this, since it is we are talking about the rigidity and heredity thing. So I'll focus here on the rigidity thing, that the Brahmins and Kshatriyas, they came in what? They became a dominant part of the society. Now, this thing is okay. Now, moving to the one another change that happened in the society. Look, you do not need to explain each and everything that is there, since we have a limit of 150 words only. If you look at the question, so if you look at the question, 150 words only. So within the time frame, we have to write the answer here. Okay. Now, again, we'll first look at the position of women in the Rig Vedic phase and then to the later Vedic phase. So, if we see the position of women declined uh, with loss of education and rituals. Here, if you want to include certain examples, like in the Rig Vedic phase, we find names like Lopamudra, famous philosophers, Gargi, and Maitreyi. You do one thing. Let me know what is the contribution of these three women here. Okay, and then since you're talking about the women, we can do one more thing, that patriarchy, the roots of patriarchy. We can talk about that thing as well here. So patriarchal norms, they got intensified. So patriarchy got strengthened here. Okay, so we're done with a little bit about societal changes. Now moving to the next thing, that is our the thing to, the changes that took place in economic context, economic changes. So let's check out them. So in the intro part itself, we talked about that the economy in the Rig Vedic period or the early Vedic phase, it was kind of semi-nomadic. So we can say ki there was a shift from pastoral economy to the agricultural economy. Okay, so there was a shift from pastoral economy to agricultural economy. I know, when you can literally ignore the handwriting thing, listen to the voiceover that is being provided here. I mean, I just do not want to take a lot of time of yours. Now, why this agricultural economy? The reason was, this, you know, the coming of the iron tools. So that thing again you can mention here in your answer. Okay. And now that they are talking about agriculture, so in such a case, in the pastoral economy, you see cattle was very important. Here, land became a very important asset. Land was a very important asset here. Okay, so it became a very important resource and all these things. And this land thing led to what? Social stratification. Those who are having larger amount of land, that turn out to be the higher section of society and all those things. Okay. Along with this, since they are involved in agriculture, and many more tools are also coming up because of the coming of this Krishna Ayas or the iron. So what we'll see, we'll talk about trade. This thing increased, and one more thing, earlier, I mean Rig Veda phase, if you see here, barter system was prominent, but in the later Vedic phase, we will see the coming of coins. In the later Vedic phase, we see coming of coins like Niska and Satamana. So we can refer this thing as well. So this thing again is referring to what? This thing, these things are referring to what? These things are referring us. These things are giving us the idea that now something like proto-urban centers ka development is happening here. Okay, so here now we can write down the conclusion thing as well, that thus our latter Vedic phase also. period or society, I'll say better, latter Vedic society will be a better word here. It became more settled, stratified, and you can say economically it was diverse, and, and thus forming the foundation stone of state formation. So that's what do we find here in this entire question. You see, we came up with the intro part, we wrote down the intro. So we in the intro, if you see, we gave the idea that what we are going to write about. Then the two prominent things that the question was demanding: society and economic terms. So societal changes, we discussed all the societal changes, and then economic changes. Now once you know write these things, it will hardly go around 140 to 150 or hardly 160 words, and it will not cross that. Generally, if I am writing the answer, it will be in between these 140 to 150. So this is how we can approach the answer. I've given you the idea. I'll suggest you to write the answer, and you can send it on the Telegram as well. The link is given there in the description box. So again, we'll be coming with some other questions. This is the first question we are discussing in this series. So let's stop it here, and let's check out the response what we are getting from the students as well. See you. I hope you like the video.